In this video, I am going to show you the step-by-step process for doing change readiness the right way, so you can save time and avoid costly mistakes. There are 6 steps for you to keep in mind for doing change readiness. There are 2 key things to keep in mind when implementing the change readiness assessments we are going to be going over in this video. 1, you want to ensure that you conduct a baseline change readiness assessment. In this example here on my screen, we conducted assessment number 1, change readiness, and you will notice there was an overall average out of all the people that were assessed. The average total readiness level score was a low. We then implemented all of the 6 key steps that I am about to go over with you for conducting the best organizational readiness, after which we conducted another change readiness assessment, which is assessment number 2. And you will notice we were able to now move the entire organization of impacted users from a baseline readiness score of low. We now move them to a high level readiness. And that is the objective of today's video, to show you how you can move your impacted users from that low level readiness to a high level readiness. So let's jump right into it, starting with step number 1. Step 1, you want to assess leadership alignment. So for example, are leaders united in their vision and priorities for change? This is important for you to ensure in order to increase your successes. Another key aspect of this step 1 is this: do executives consistently communicate the same message across departments? It is important that your leadership and your senior executives are communicating the same message so there are no conflicts. Another thing is this: are there or is there visible executive sponsorship that employees can trust? This is another critical step. And then something else is this: have your leaders defined measurable success metrics for the change? A lot of times change initiatives fail because there is not defined what does success look like. And talking about leadership and senior stakeholders, something you will want to do that is a best practice is show them readiness reports across the different projects that are impacting the same audience. So for example, we are looking at the OCM solution software. The link is below. And you will notice as I scroll all the way down to a dashlet report that says readiness levels per project. Let me go ahead and expand this report. You will see there are multiple projects that are impacting different audiences across the organization. One of those projects, Change Initiative, has 16 impacted individuals that are ready for the change, 10 individuals that have a mid-level readiness, and 1 individual that has a low readiness. So when you show your leadership this holistic picture across different projects, they find a lot of value in that. So just one of those things that I consider a quick win for you to keep in mind and share with your leaders. Which moves us to step 2. For step 2, it involves evaluating employee sentiment. So you want to gauge employee awareness and their willingness to adopt the change. And to do that, you can use surveys, interviews, or focus groups to understand concerns. Another thing is you want to identify which groups are more resistant to change and which ones are supportive. You also want to assess whether employees understand the we them, and the we them really is what's in it for me. During a time of change, humans, employees, managers, supervisors, people in general, they always think, what's in it for me? Sometimes they vocalize what's that question about what's in it for me. Sometimes they are thinking about it, what's in it for me from this change happening? Will there be benefits to me? Will there be positive to me? So that question, what's in it for me, helping employees understand the benefits to them really goes a long way, which moves us to step number 3. For step number 3, you want to review communication effectiveness. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to assess how well information about the change is being shared. You want to look for clarity, frequency, and transparency in updates. You want to confirm that managers are equipped and have been coached with talking points to reinforce messages. And you also want to check if employees know where to find resources, FAQs, and updates. I normally recommend my change management clients to have a centralized location where they are saving all of those documents too. That way, impacted users can have one place to go to for resources, which moves us to step number 4. For step number 4, you want to examine training and resources. Do employees have the right tools, systems, and knowledge that they need? Are learning resources and support materials easy to access? Is training customized to different roles and responsibilities? So, for example, if you're impacting sales, marketing, human resources, finance, accounting, manufacturing, IT, do you have customized training that speaks their language? A lot of times, a mistake that we see change and project practitioners doing is using a one size fits all communication and training. You want to ensure, where possible, obviously, with resources and budget, not everything is possible, especially when it comes to time, the amount of time you have to deliver training. But where possible, try to customize training to the different audiences. We call them personas, right? So there is more value to the people being impacted and getting training when you do customized training. Something else you also want to look at is, are there champions and support networks to help employees during adoption? Change champion networks really go a long way in increasing user adoption and helping employees whenever they're running into challenges. And so when you do your change readiness assessment and you identify a situation like this one on my screen, where you have one person that has a low level of readiness and you have 10 people with mid-level readiness, when it comes to training and support, you want to ensure that you are prioritizing the people that need help the most. And this moves us to step number 5. For step number 5, you want to analyze organizational culture and capacity within the departments or groups that have been impacted. And so, as part of your assessment, you want to identify, does the company culture support agility, collaboration, and innovation? And you can replace company with group, departments, team. Does the department culture support agility, collaboration, and innovation? Does the group culture support? So, depending on the level in which you are doing your change readiness assessment, that's the level for which you want to assess the culture. Other things you want to look at is this: are there signs of change fatigue? Are there signs of change saturation from basically too many initiatives happening at once? Why is it important for you to know this? Because if users that have been impacted by your project are experiencing change fatigue and change saturation, they are more likely to resist the changes that you are looking to implement. And there are solutions and strategies to help address change saturation. We have other videos that we have published to cover that particular topic. In your case, when doing your change readiness, make sure you understand the level of change saturation. Something else you want to look at is this: are workloads realistic? The number of changes that you're asking people to adopt within a set period of time, is it realistic? Or are there competing priorities that are creating risk for your project? You want to assess that. You want to understand what other projects are impacting the same audience that your project is impacting. And something else you want to consider is, does performance management system encourage new behaviors? What this means really is the changes that you're implementing. When people are performing better on those changes, does that encourage new behaviors? Do they want to adopt more of the changes that you are implementing? Something for you to keep in mind. Which moves us to step number 6. For step number 6, you will want to test pilot readiness. Another way we will refer to this is test readiness with pilot groups. One thing we normally tell customers using our all-in-one OCM solution software, or things that I normally tell clients as a change management consultant, is this: it is important to do a pilot before rolling out a change to the rest of the organization. And we can go into more details in regards to the value of rolling out a pilot. But let's continue to this conversation. A pilot will, at a high level, it really is important, and it ensures that you are able to test readiness. And to do this, you want to run a small scale pilot, or you want to test out the rollout with a small representative group of employees that can include champions or SMEs, right? You don't want to include everyone in the pilot, because that is basically rolling out the changes to everyone. So do a pilot with a small group. Here's something else. You want to observe adoption behaviors, the way people are using the system, so system usage, and feedback in real time. Capturing feedback in real time involves checking in with the individuals that are part of the pilot. You can do that via Teams, via Zoom, via whatever collaborative platform your organization is using. That can include Slack. Make sure you're pinging people, checking in, seeing how people are doing. Do they have any feedback for you? That is what we mean by gathering feedback in real time. You also want to capture lessons learned and refine your strategies, refine your communications, refine your training, refine your overall support strategies before you roll out the changes to the rest of the organization. So, in other words, you are really using your findings from your pilots to validate your readiness scores, and also, most importantly, adjusting your strategy for the broader implementation. To simplify how you conduct your organizational change readiness, I have created a ready to go free checklist that will guide you through each step. As you can see on my screen, you will notice that the checklist is a very simple checklist, and it breaks the activities into the 6 key steps that we just went over for doing an organizational change readiness assessment and also getting impacted users ready for a change. And those are the 6 main steps on how to do an organizational change readiness. Watch the next video and continue to increase your success. Also, check out the free resources below, including free templates, checklists, and a software trial to help you increase your professional successes in organizational change management. See you there.